Hi, everyone. Good day from Trent University, and thank you so much for joining our session on transferring to Trent University as an international student. So we are just getting ready to start now, and we'll just spend the next 2 minutes or so waiting for other participants to join. So just hang in there for now, grab a sip of water, you know, so we are expecting about 30 participants today. So once we have most of the participants joining, we will begin the session.
So for our attendees, we would love to know where you're joining this webinar from. If you could comment in the chat to let us know where you're watching this webinar, that would be great. Thank you. Nice to see that you're back home in Winnipeg, Sohel. Shanghai, India, Prasad.
So to those of you who just joined our session, a very warm welcome again from Trent International. So I think, it is now about 2 minutes past. I think we can start while others continue to join. So, my name is Bernard and from Trent International. And today I'm joined by my colleague, Jessica, and also Elena and Barbara from the International Admissions Office. The theme for today's webinar is transferring to Trent University as an international student. It is a theme and a topic that has come up quite often. We understand that you do have some questions about this topic. So, if you have any questions along the way, feel free to use the Q&A function in this webinar or use the chat. But if you can, please use the Q&A. It would be actively monitored and we will be answering your questions. And to our partners out from around the world, we just want to thank you for all your support during this time. This is a very unique and challenging time for all of us involved in international education, and through webinars like this, we hope to provide you with the support that you need. But of course, if you need any other support, our team is always ready to help. Just a little side note, you may be happy to know that our admissions applications to Trent University for fall 2020 are still open. So your students are still welcome to join. And the other piece of good news is that Trent ESL would be offering in-person classes in addition to remote or online delivery this fall. So if you have students who are already in Canada or who are able to travel to Canada, they would be more than welcome to join our Trent ESL in-person classes at our beautiful campus in Peterborough. So for more information on this, you can always reach out to us. But without further ado, I'm going to hand over my time to my wonderful colleagues in the international admissions team, Elena and Barbara, who will be, giving you a briefing on today's topic, transferring to Trent as an international student. So please, Elena.
Yes, greetings everyone. My name is Elena Kurikova and I am an international admissions advisor with Trent International. As Bernard mentioned, I will be joined today also by my colleague, Barbara Castillo-Snook, and she will be monitoring your questions, and we encourage you to post your questions in the Q&A box, and we will answer your questions at the end of this presentation. Let's review the agenda of our presentation. This presentation is aimed at those prospective or admitted students who are considering transferring to Trent University and will need to know how to apply for admission, what is involved in the transfer credit process. We'll be talking about transfer credit eligibility, how to apply for transfer credits, and how to use received transfer credits. We will be doing a brief demonstration of websites that concern admission and transfer credits. Last but not least, we will answer your questions regarding admission and transfer credits. As Bernard mentioned, we still have our application open, so I think it's appropriate just to briefly cover the admission process. As a very first step, and regardless whether or not you may qualify or students may qualify to receive transfer credits, students need to apply for admission to Trent University and go through the standard admission process. Just let's briefly review our admission process. As you may know, we have two types of applications that students can use. We can probably move to another slide, please. Thank you. So the first step would be submitting an admission application. I would like to know that our admission application remains open for the majority of programs for studies commencing this fall. Prospective applicants can apply using a Trent Direct or OUAC 105 application. OUAC stands for Ontario University's Application Center. Direct application is designed for students who wish to apply to Trent University only, and the OUAC 105 is designed for students who wish to apply to Trent University in addition to other universities in Ontario. The application fee for the direct application is 90 Canadian dollars, and the application fee for OUAC 105 is 150 Canadian dollars that covers up to 3 choices. Application fees are non-refundable regardless of the admission decision. Links to both applications are located on our website at www.trentu.ca/international under admissions. Apply now. This website also contains information on general, program, and country-specific admission requirements. We will do a brief demonstration of this website at the end of our presentation. Let's move to the next portion of our presentation, and let's talk about determining transfer credits and how we process transfer credits. So very briefly and very generally, we recognize and grant transfer credits for successfully completed courses at foreign accredited post-secondary institutions. We will determine whether or not students qualify for transfer credits at the admission stage, as we talked about. Again, very briefly, the transfer credits for high school graduates. As you noticed, if you can go just one slide back, the transfer credits for high school graduates. This particular slide is for high school graduates completing certain curriculums in which are recognized to receive transfer credits. As you can see, we grant transfer credits for IB, British Pattern, Advanced Level, AP, CAPE curriculums for courses completed with a certain grade. Transfer credits will be automatically posted to Trent account upon receipt of official final grades, and there is no need to submit any forms for transfer credit evaluation, as we will talk a little bit later. let's review transfer credit procedures for post-secondary students. As noted earlier, a preliminary assessment for transfer credit eligibility is performed at the admissions stage. If eligible, it will be stated in admission letters as well as on my Trent under transfer credits. It is our standard practice to issue admission letters for eligible students with advanced standing to year 2 of a 4-year bachelor honors degree. Even students who are hoping and may qualify to transfer as 2+2 will receive admission into year 2 of a 4-year program. In reality, students may qualify for more transfer credits, as up to a maximum of 10 credits, which is the equivalent of 2 years of full-time studies, can be granted. The transfer credit process needs to take place to determine the actual amount transfer credits, and which we will describe in the following slide. Before transfer credit assessment can take place, we will check to see if students meet the following transfer credit eligibility conditions. First, students need to accept our offer, the admission offer that has been extended. Second, the institution you are seeking transfer credits from should be an accredited institution by national education authorities. The program should be at the college or university diploma level. Normally, technical or vocational certificate training programs do not qualify for transfer credits. Only courses with certain grades will qualify for transfer credits. Generally speaking, university level courses with a minimum grade of C or better qualify for transfer credits, or college level courses with a minimum grade of B- or better qualify for transfer credits. We will certainly look at the grading scale to determine what that equivalent might be. And last but not least, official course syllabi must be presented for transfer credit evaluation process. Students transferring to Trent under existing articulation agreements do not need to provide course syllabi. Once the above conditions have been met, we will email students detailed information on what needs to be included in the course syllabi. If all the above conditions have been met, then we can start the actual process of transfer credits. Students will be invited to submit course syllabus through my Trent using the transfer credit request upload form available under academics admissions. Upon receipt of course syllabus, we will invite students to complete the transfer credit assessment form, and which will be then forwarded to the appropriate academic departments along with course syllabus for assessment. The transfer credit assessment by departments may take up to 2 to 4 weeks. As we hear back and receive approvals from academic departments, we will be posting eligible transfer credits on my Trent portal. How to use transfer credits? First, students need to know that there are 2 types of transfer credits that Trent University might be granting. The first type is assigned credits. So assigned credits, they are specific Trent University course equivalents. They can be used as course prerequisites and allow students to take upper year level courses. So for example, the Economics 1010H course is a prerequisite course for all second-year economics courses. Assigned credits fulfill both the program-specific and general degree requirements. The second type are unassigned credits. They are non-specific program or faculty course equivalents. They cannot be used as course prerequisites, but they will count towards a degree. For example, if students received an assigned science year 3 credit, it will be counted towards the minimum of 14 science credits required for a science degree. Or unassigned arts year 3 can be counted towards the total of 20 credits required for a Bachelor of Arts or Science honors degree. Both assigned and unassigned credits will help students to fulfill degree requirements sooner. It is likely that if you completed a 4-year bachelor degree at an accredited recognized foreign institution, you may receive a maximum of 10 credits, half of the 20 credits required for a bachelor honors degree at Trent University. Receiving a combination of assigned and unassigned credits and planning which courses to take may be slightly confusing at first, but rest assured our academic advising services will be there for you to guide you through the selection and registration process to ensure that you are benefiting from transfer credits in full. Each year prior to the start of classes, Trent University and Trent International Office holds a comprehensive orientation for all new international students, and which includes sessions on academics, course selection, registration, degree planning, and so much more. It is highly recommended that you finalize transfer credits first before registering for courses. Let's review our internet resources, our websites that will be helpful. And as I mentioned earlier, our main website is www.trentu.ca/international. And on that website, you will find everything you need to know, or your students need to know about applying to Trent, including the admission application, country-specific or general program requirements, as well as English proficiency requirements. And again, as I mentioned, there will be links to our direct and 105 Ontario University's Application Center website. Also, you will find deadlines for submitting an application or completing an application. Again, right now, our deadlines have been extended for the application and completion and submission of the required documents. But again, the chart that is posted there will help you to navigate and make sure that our students are aware of the deadlines. Also, there are information on the next steps. So typically when we receive an application, it takes about 3 to 5 business days for the application to come through. And upon receipt of the application on this end, an email is sent. And that email is very important because it will have a Trent ID number. And the Trent ID number is required to activate My Trent portal. My Trent portal is a very important feature because everything pretty much, once we receive an application, pretty much everything is done through My Trent portal. We will be updating the status of the admission status on that portal. We will be posting required documents. Again, transfer credits can be visible on My Trent. So lots and lots of things that we ask students to do through My Trent portal, including submission of documents. Speaking about documents, this question comes up quite often: how do I submit my documents? Our preference that students submit their documents through My Trent. Again, on My Trent, there are specific forms, upload forms. There is a high school upload form, post-secondary transcript upload form, English proficiency upload form, and as well as transfer credit request form that allows students to upload their course syllabus. So again, My Trent is very important, and we encourage students to activate My Trent account as soon as they receive that acknowledgement email containing their Trent ID. And that email will also have information on next steps. So the information can be found on our website. So back to the website resources, again, on the main website under international, on the international website, under admissions, there are different sections designed for different stages of application status. So we do have sections how to apply. Again, it's all under admissions on the international website. How to apply, then there is a section called Already Applied. Also, we do have a section called Received an Offer, Accepted an Offer. So basically, these are the sections for students that guide them through the process and next steps, which is very, very important, because obviously each stage may have certain deadlines, and we encourage students to check all the sections as they move from one stage to another. Also, our Trent International office emails students quite regularly, reminding them of the next steps. And certainly we always encourage students to email us if they have any questions or concerns. The next website that I would like to mention, which is very useful, is trentu.ca/transfer. So the transfer, this is the main website of Trent University. It's not necessarily international specific. Now, the good news is that we are hoping to have a website specifically for international transfer students with more details. But this website, trentu.ca/transfer, is a very useful website. You will find information on transferring from a university or transferring from a college. Now, again, I just would like to mention that most of that information concerns students transferring from Canadian institutions, a Canadian university or Canadian college. So if you have clients or students who are currently in Canada, I would highly, highly recommend that you check that website, trentu.ca/transfer. And you will see, I'm just going there myself, and you will see, if you click on the college transfer student, it will have all specific information on how to transfer from a college, what to expect. The most important piece of this website is that it has a database of all articulation agreements. So the Articulation Trent University has a great number of articulation agreements with universities and colleges in Canada. So I mentioned earlier that students who are transferring to Trent under those articulation agreements do not need to provide course syllabus. So it's much, let's say, easier to do a transfer from a Canadian college or university. Still, the same rules apply. Students have to have a certain grade. They will be, they may be required to submit course syllabi if you don't have those courses in our database. But as a first step, if you're just trying to determine whether Trent has an articulation agreement, you go to that website and you will see a link to database. So the database, it's up to date. So Trent University updates this database on regularly. So I would encourage you to certainly look at this database and see which institutions Trent University has articulation agreements with. So it certainly helps students to know. And again, this transfer website, the Trent.ca/transfer has, as I mentioned, information for students transferring from a college or transferring from a university. And last but not least, again, I'd like to mention that the My Trent portal is very, very important feature. And again, information such as admissions, transfer credits, course registration, housing application, different services, athletics, bus schedule, everything is posted on My Trent. And I cannot stress enough that we encourage students to check, or agents, if you have access to students' portals, check this on a regular basis. We do post, as we assess an application, if we can make an admission decision, then we will change the status and we will be able to see the status of the applicant on My Trent, or if we need more information and we would like to see more documents, then we will post that required document on My Trent. So it's very, very important that that My Trent portal is being checked on a regular basis. And again, students can view the services we provide. They can see the bus schedule, the Trent Express or other buses that we run, and different services. So it's a very, very useful feature. So just be mindful and make sure that students activate My Trent portal as soon as possible. And then the My Trent portal is being monitored on a regular basis. Maybe not daily, but at least once a week, students check the status. Well, with that, I think I would like to open now to questions and answers. Again, this slide shows the main email address for the Trent International Admissions Office. So it's international admissions at trent.ca. You're always welcome to email us or have your students email us. We try to respond to emails within 24 hours on a regular weekday or 48 hours after weekend. So please encourage students to email us. And let's see if you have any questions right now.
So we've had a few questions through the question and answers, and I've been answering those individually. We do have a question in the chat, and they're asking. They've mentioned that they've applied for a student to transfer to Trent. The student has successfully received an offer, but it seems like the request is showing as a hard copy transcript. They're asking, would it be approved if it's scanned and sent through us as an agent?
It's a very good question, especially in these times when lots of universities or institutions are still closed. So what I would like to actually go just one step further and just say that in order for us to start the transfer credits, we would like to see the final transcript, official final transcript. So in most cases, when students applying for admission, they do provide with in-progress transcripts if they're still studying. But again, as I said, our preference to begin the transfer credit evaluation would be receiving the official final transcript. Speaking about the official and final transcript, what constitutes an official transcript? So right now, the definition has not changed. The official transcript is a transcript which comes directly from the institution, not from the agent, not from the student, but from the institution directly. So that definition has not changed. What we've slightly modified right now, we are still doing transfer credits when we receive an unofficial transfer, final transfer. Transcript. So now our preference again would be institutions emailing us. We can accept an official transcript if it comes directly from the institution. We will treat that document as an official document. So perhaps students, I know that physically some offices may be closed, but students I hope still will be able to request and the official transcript to be emailed to us, International Admissions. And then in that case, we will treat it and accept it as an official document. So that is very important feature. And right now we are doing transfer credits for all those students who provided an unofficial final transcript. So we've started doing transfer credit evaluations for those students. So the final official transcript will be still required. So it's part of the admission condition. And as soon as the student can provide that document, that would be great. And the condition will be removed. But again, now some students have been asking if they can, if classes, if the university opens and students will be able to come in person, then students can bring their documents in person and bring them to our office, the admissions office. But ideally, again, we would like to receive those documents prior students' arrival. And if the document ideally comes directly from the institution, then that will satisfy the requirement of an official document.
Okay, so I'm going to read some of the questions that we answered during the webinar, just so that everyone, if someone else has a similar question, they also get an answer for that. So somebody had asked us earlier, what was a course syllabi? And that's a good question. It's simple, but it's important to be clear on that. So a course syllabi, it's basically the academic document that has been issued by the institution with all the important information about the course that the student has taken. And so it goes from something very simple, from the course code, the course title, but it should also include all the description of the course, what was covered, how long was it, how many credits was worth it, the textbooks that were used. And so depending on the institution, depending on the country, course syllabi could be anything from 1 page to maybe 3, 4, 5 different pages of information. The bottom line and what you want to remember is that the more information, the more detailed information is in the course syllabi, the better it is for the student, because it will allow our department to understand better what was the course that the student completed and what did they learn and what were the outcomes from that course. So for example, how was the course evaluated? Sometimes we see a lot of information regarding the course, but it doesn't tell us how the student was evaluated in that course. Did they do an exam? Did they do a test? Were there practicals? Were they seminars? What was the evaluation method? So again, the more information is included, the better, because our departments will be able to equate the course more accurately in that sense. And the course syllabi needs to be provided by the institution. A lot of institutions nowadays will post their course syllabi on their website so students can log in and try to find it online. However, traditionally, the course syllabi is provided to the student at the beginning of the course, because it's also information for the student at the beginning of their course to know how the course is going to carry on throughout the cycle. Okay. Another question we received was that students studying in year 1 in Central or State India, can they apply for transfer credit to year 2 at Trent? So, Elena, I don't know if you want to answer that, but the answer that I had provided, I said, they're basically going to be applying for admissions and the courses will be evaluated. So the intention would be to apply to second year, but that all is going to depend on the evaluation of the courses the student has completed. Okay, so
Yes,
if there is a successful evaluation, then the more credits the student is going to obtain.
Right. I just would like to, again, it's a very good question, because we've been asked if a student needs to use a different application. I just would like to clarify that our admission application that I talked about earlier is designed for all students, new students, and transfer students. So what triggers the transfer when it comes to us as a transfer, when students indicate the post-secondary institution under history, because the student is asked to provide the academic history, so the attendance of high school, the dates, the name of the high school, and also the post-secondary. So it's going to be part of the admission application where students provides information on post-secondary institution, and that triggers the for us to look to see if a student may qualify for transfer credits if we see the attendance of the post-secondary institution. Long story short, it's one application for all students, so which makes it easier. You don't need to look for a separate application for transfer students. It's just one application for all. And the first step would be submitting an admission application, and then we will determine, looking at the academic history of the student at that specific post-secondary institution, as well as looking at the transcript of the student to determine, then we will determine when we're making an admission decision, we are not looking only at to see if the student has a minimum average to qualify for admission. We're also looking at whether the student can receive transfer credits and be granted advanced standing. Again, as a standard practice, the advanced standing means admission into year 2 of a 4-year program, and that will be stated, if that's the case, that will be stated in the letter of acceptance of the student. So it will say duration of the program, it will say year 2 of 4. Again, in the reality, it may be the students may get the equivalent of 2 years, and they'll need maybe to complete only 2 years at Trent. But again, as a standard practice, we do admit students with advanced standing into year 2 of a 4-year program.
Great. And the last question that we had received was a question about incoming study abroad students, and they were asking if it was a possibility to do it during the winter. And so I said, yes, studying abroad students, or I guess exchange students, can come during the winter. The only thing is that they have to make sure, they have to keep in mind that not all our courses are open or are offered during the winter. So it depends. If they want to come as a special student and take a couple courses at Trent, they want to make sure that those courses that they're interested in are going to be offered during the winter session as well. Is there another question coming up here? I think that's all the questions that we've answered so far through the questions and answers in the chat. I also wanted to mention something, and I think Elena did a great job during the presentation, but I think it's important to our agents to remind students that are interested in transferring to Trent, not that it is a majority, but oftentimes we see students that are looking to transfer, and they're hoping, they've completed a whole year of university courses, and they're hoping to come to Trent in second year. But they're transferring from a program that is not the same program that they're going to be studying at Trent. And so it's just a reminder to keep in mind that there won't be a possibility to transfer 5 credits of a full completed year, or 10 credits, which is equivalent to the first 2 years at Trent, if you're not transferring from the same field. So if you're studying arts in India, let's say, for example, and you're transferring to business at Trent, of course, there's going to be courses that you can transfer. There's going to be what we call unassigned transfer credits that are eligible to count as the credits towards your degree completion. But I guess just to keep in mind that if you're not transferring from an exact field, the transfer credits may not be as useful as if you're transferring from a BBA program to a BBA program. Again, it's not the majority of the students that we see, but sometimes we see I would say maybe some disappointment in saying, well, but I've already completed a full year back home. Yes, but you've already completed a full year in a different field. And so there's still required courses that you need to complete during your first year at Trent University, if that makes any sense.
And that reminds me, thank you, Barbara, for pointing this. I think I would like to just, again, say, as a policy at Trent University, students, we see those applications not often, but sometimes the students with applying to do a second degree in the same major. So let's say a student has a bachelor degree in business and has applied to do a business degree at Trent. So under Trent's academic policy, it's not possible. It's not possible to do the same degree. So we are welcome and happy to receive that application, but it needs to be for a different degree. So it can be something even related, let's say economics. A student with a Bachelor of Business degree can apply to do a second degree at Trent in economics, and most likely will get 2 years of transfer credits, and will be able to finish a second degree in 2 years or a little bit more, because economics and business are quite related and a lot of courses are cross-listed. But again, just please be mindful that a student cannot repeat the same degree at Trent. So again, once in a while, we do receive applications. Students would like to do the same degree, and it is not possible, but it is possible to do a related degree or a completely different degree again. So that's certainly an option. I just would like to also, while we are, I think questions are still being posted, I would like to just say about course syllabus, because it is very important questions and there are lots of confusion sometimes. Different countries have different definitions of course syllabus. So what happens at the stage when a student has been accepted, the student has accepted our offer, and we have received the final transcript. So we send a course syllabus request to students' email address. And that request will have very specific information what you're looking for. So there may be 10, 15 things listed that the course syllabus is ideally consistent of. But again, the student will receive an email from us. It will come to the email address that was provided, and it will list exactly what we're looking for in that course syllabus. So right now you don't have to remember exactly what exactly, because it's a lot of information that we're looking for. But that email, once all those conditions have been met, we have final transcript, the student has accepted our offer, which is very important. And please remind your students, if they're thinking of transferring, they still need to accept our offer. And so we have the final grade. So all that triggers an email from our side to students, including specific information on course syllabus. And those course syllabus, they're not assessed by us. Again, would like to stress, because that sometimes students wondering why it takes so long for that process to be completed. It's not assessed in the admissions office. Those course syllabus being forwarded to the appropriate appropriate academic departments. And the departments certainly, some take more time, some take 1-2 days to respond. So academic departments evaluate those course syllabus and let us know what exactly can be transferred, and then we will post those approved transfer credits on students' academic records. So that's important for students to remember, that they need to accept an offer before all of that can happen.
I was going to say also too, if you as an agent are already working with a student who it's a prospect, and you've been in conversation conversations about perhaps transferring to Trent. The first or the best advice you can provide to the student is to start gathering their course syllabi for those courses that will matter within their degree at Trent University. So going back to the first discussion we had, if they're going to be taking business and they've taken business courses, those courses will count and they will be valuable to get transfer credits for. And so let's make it a priority to start gathering that syllabi information so that when the time comes, the offer has been provided, they have accepted their offer, the next step is just for them to send the syllabi to us along with all the other forms and included in the process. But it will be a little faster as opposed to having to wait for that moment to start requesting the syllabi or try to contact their home institution, because sometimes that's the part that takes the longest. And so I would say again, if you're in those conversations, start planting the seed for the students so that they know that either they have to look for it back in boxes at home or they have to get in touch with their home institution to obtain that information. There is a question that we just received. It said, oh, okay. So the same person, I think is Sad, was asking about the abroad or sort of like the inbound study abroad option for the winter. They said, is it going to be online or has the university open? And they're also asking, is there on-campus housing for exchange students? And so I don't know if we want to jump on this, Elena, but my answer will be the university, as of now it's closed. Come the fall session, we're going to have a blended sort of system where there will be some courses that will be offered in person, but majority of our courses will be offered online. When it comes to the winter session, I don't think a final decision has been made. And so to secure right now and say that there will be in-person classes, it will be, I'm not sure if it's going to be possible at this point. And when it comes to housing, yes, there is going to be residence open for students coming this September. So my assumption will be to say that it is going to be available for the winter as well, should everything go smoothly during the fall.
Yes, I just would like to add for the study abroad, specifically study abroad questions, we do have a study abroad office within Trent International. So it's always a good idea to email study abroad office, and the email address is easy to remember, studyabroad@trentu.ca. And our study abroad advisor, Kate Logan, will be in the best position to respond to any of your questions, whether it's coming for a term, coming for 1 year as an exchange student, or as a letter of permission student. So it would be best to forward your inquiries to studyabroad@trentu.ca, because while the admission process is handled by us, everything else after that is handled by this office, Study Abroad. So everything from course registration to providing information on as a study abroad student, everything comes from that office. So I would encourage you to email our study abroad office at studyabroad@trentu.ca.
Great. So I don't see any more questions in the chat box or in the question and answer box. So I guess this is your last call. If you have any questions, make sure you get them in so that we can answer them. If you don't at this particular time and after the webinar, as soon as you click end the meeting, a good question will come up to your head. So just reach out to your email, send us an email to internationaladmissions@trentu.ca, and we will be happy to answer those. I'm sure that majority of you are already in contact with either Bernard or Jessica, so there's always going to be a way to get a hold of us. So no, don't panic if you come up with a good question after the webinar.
All right, so thank you so much to Elena and Barbara for that very informative presentation. Like Barbara said, we hope the presentation has answered most of your questions, but we are always available to speak with you further through email, etc. So feel free to get in touch anytime. But for now, we just want to let you know that this webinar was recorded, so we will make the recording available to you, and we will also be posting this webinar onto our website as well. So I will send you some updates when that is available. So once again, thanks a lot. I understand it might be late in parts of where you are at. So have a good night for those of you where it's nighttime, and have a good day for those of you who is still in the daytime. We look forward to speaking with you soon, and please stay safe for now. And like I said, we are always open to your questions down the road. Take care for now. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.